in this exercise 3, I call it from impossible to inevitable. I want to take you through one of the most fascinating things about your brain in a very short exercise, exercise 3, that's going to allow you to move things that have felt impossible, those things that you have wanted for so long and wondered why you couldn't have them. We're going to take them and move them from impossible to inevitable. So, what you need to know is that we have 3 timelines that we use to organize our experience. First, we have the inevitable timeline. This is the one we believe certain things is happening. The second timeline is the one we call conditional timeline. This is a timeline where things might happen, might not. And then we have the third timeline called the impossible timeline. That is where we store things we believe they are never going to happen. So now our brains are tricky with this because we often store things that we really want, not on our impossible timeline. Right? So what we are going to do today is to create a little dashboard in your brain so that you can adjust things from these timelines. And I'm going to take you through 3 steps. Right? I've mentioned just now. The first is going to figure out just where you locate the 3 timelines. They're going to be different for every single person. So don't worry about where yours is. There's no right, no wrong. This is the first step. And come to the second step is going to be notice where things you want most are on your timeline. Which one are you storing the things you want and also the things that you don't want? Because sometimes we put things that we don't want on the inevitable timeline. And then the third step is to guide you how to move them from one timeline to the other. And so now, close your eyes, get comfortable, calm and relax. Take a deep breath in, exhale. So the first thing we're going to do is notice where we store those things in our lives that are inevitable. The way to find this is really simple. You might be having a little voice in your head that goes, "This is kind of crazy. No one told me this before. What is going on here?" Now, I just want to give you and give yourself permission to play around and see what shows up for you. So pick something that you know is going to happen. Something you absolutely know is going to happen. Example, that the sun is coming up tomorrow. That Christmas is coming in December. That March is around the corner. Whatever it is, something that you absolutely know is going to happen. For today, I'm going to use the sun as an example to guide you through. You're going to want to speak this out loud and say, "The sun will come up tomorrow." And I want you to notice as you say that where the origin of that is in your body. You may have to say this a few times. Notice where the strength or the source point is when you say that out. Now, for me, this shows up at the solar plexus area inside my body, kind of in the solar plexus area in my body. That does not mean it is the right place to show up. It does mean in my body that is where it shows up. So take a moment, say that as many times as you need to, whatever your phrase is, and notice where the experience shows up. So we are not rearranging the furniture in your house. We are just noticing where the inevitable timeline is already located. Next, we are going to the conditional timeline. Pick something you might do. So you're going to say, "I might go to the movie tomorrow," or whatever phrase that is you have. And I want you again to notice where that shows up in your body. Just notice where it is. For me, it is somewhere behind the eyes. The eyes. Yours again is going to be somewhere different. No right, no wrong. Where it is, no right, no wrong. Just notice where it is for you. Next, we're going to find the things now that are on your impossible timeline. Now, this is a stuff that you want to or like, but you know it is impossible. This is like it is impossible that dragon is going to walk into this room right now, right? I know that's not going to happen. Make something kind of crazy, right? And we are doing this in an extreme so that you can find the impossible timeline. So whatever the sentence is for you, notice where it is. Where is your impossible timeline? For me, the impossible timeline is somewhere outside my body, few inches away from my right eye. Notice where is it for you. So before we move on, can you notice how cool this is that you have just found 3 different places that you organize your experience that you never knew your brain was doing for you? Now, the second thing we're going to do here is to pick the goals that you already have. So whatever that might be for you, pick that goal that you already set or type into the chat box just now. For those who have not, that could be something that you want to do. For example, I want to lose 2 kg in the next 6 months, or I want to become financially independent, or I want to write a book, or I want to secure my 5 million total winning in year end 2025, whatever it may be. Okay, so as an example, I'm just going to use one that says I will be financially independent. So you pick one that fits you, and what we're going to do is we will move very quickly through these 3 different areas wherever you look at it. And what we are looking for is the place that this is the most at home for you. We want to see where it fits first. Huh? So all you are going to do is you're going to imagine this in your hand. You're going to hold your goal, and I want you to imagine putting it in each of these 3 places, one by one. So I will guide you through this, and we're going to put it in. So, and what we are looking for is sort of like a click. Oh yeah, so it's something like a click. Oh yes, that is the place. So we just want to see where it is. So go ahead, pick your sentence, that means your goal. And wherever you put your inevitable timeline, go ahead, put that goal there and see whether it clicks. Imagine it going in and seeing if you can get there. Oh yeah, that's the place. Next, go ahead and try the conditional timeline. See if it clicks into there. Maybe, maybe not. And then try the impossible timeline. Notice for yourself where the goal shows up. So which of these 3 locations, you just have to figure out where you have been storing that goal that you want to happen. Now, some of you may have had experience of like, oh, I wish that wasn't there, but do not worry about it. We're going to put it right in a short while. We'll be taking this super fast bypass on the freeway around, having to work really hard and just let our brain do the work by shifting some gears here. So what we're going to do in just a moment is we are going to move your goal from wherever it was that you didn't want it towards inevitables. Before we do this, a couple of things to let you know first. Sometimes when there are money pains, we kind of don't want it to be inevitable yet. So if you notice there is some resistance moving it to inevitable, then you are going to want to notice what would need to change first to make this happen. We are going to take about a minute to go through, but I just don't want you to jump from one to the other. We actually need to move from the impossible to the conditional first, and then to the inevitable. So it is just like a little 1 degree shift, and it does not take us very long. But if you go straight from impossible to inevitable, sometimes it will snap right back. So we need that little step in between. And if you found that you were already in conditional, just hang with conditional first. We will go from conditional to inevitable in just a second. So, okay, so go ahead and find where your goal was. Locate it again. I'm going to start for those who found it in the impossible timeline first. Grab your goals with both hands, and we are going to move it into the place that was conditional for you. You may find yourself getting a little lightheaded. That's all right. It won't happen for everyone. It is all good. Now, when this becomes comfortable and easy on the conditional timeline, begin moving just a little closer to inevitable timeline slowly until it clicks. For those of you who are just starting with conditional, just let yourself have a few breaths here. Then we are going to move this from your conditional space into your inevitable timeline. So again, with your hands, move into that inevitable space. Imagine that goal just settling and coming home into a place where the only possibility is for this to become inevitable. And just breathe for a moment while these goals move into a place where action seems like the only option. So let yourself notice that the shift when you know that this is something that can and will happen. And take a few more breaths here. You can drop your hands if you like, or you can leave them just feeling the continued integration into the space of inevitability. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to do one additional thing, which is allow yourself to notice the next action, the next impulse that will make this feeling of inevitable become a reality for you. So start noticing the next action that you need to take to make this inevitable. That one small action. Example, if it was, I will create a course, it might be to write that draft course outline. Another example, if it is, I will ask for a raise, it might be to set a time to talk to your boss. Another example, if it is to get new clients, it might be to begin to write the pitch for your new clients. Whatever the next action is, just simply notice what it is. And I will ask you to take any small steps towards that you can when you complete this exercise. Congratulations on some really good work today. You're going to continue moving your goals into the place of more and more inevitable and more possibility until we see you again. So take a deep breath and open your eyes.